Now, I think Uber is a great idea. Personally, I don't drink or anything or find myself in need of a cab very often, so for me to step inside of a cab or anybody else's vehicle for that matter would be strange. But there's a lot of people out on the town. There's a lot of people new to a city. There's a lot of people visiting that don't feel like renting a car. I don't see anything wrong with Uber being there. I'm just not entirely sure that the actual business model is as flawless as people might hope it is. And I know a lot of people really do hope it is, from an employment standpoint and eventually from an investment standpoint. See, Uber's privately held right now. Their second quarter didn't actually turn out that well. They announced they lost $645 million on 1.6 billion in revenue. That's not doing very good. And not only that, they've been dealing with a lot of litigation all around the world and constant roadblocks with entries into new markets and in fact being curtailed out of old markets that they've been in. They're also dealing with Lyft, a competitor that's doing very similar things to them. It all really comes down to the fact that insurance is difficult to get when you're not a cab company, and all these government agencies already have insurance in place for cab owners, people who purchase a license plate and can then go ahead and operate a cab with the type of insurance that's proper for picking up a new passenger possibly every 10 or 15 minutes. Uber doesn't have that. Now, Uber's trying to find ways in all the different markets to get insurance and to make sure that their drivers are as responsible as possible, but being that they're such a large company and there's so few local controls in place, who's to say that you might not be being picked up by a 1998 Toyota Tercel? I don't necessarily want that to be the drive I get home when I'm already puking out of somebody's back window. Now, that's not going to happen to me, but I'm sure that's happened to somebody out there listening right now. Now, Uber's new CEO starts on Tuesday. What did he have to say? He said his goal is to pay the bills. That's probably the best goal you can have running any business. Your first and foremost goal better to be to serve the customer and to pay your bills. He hopes to take Uber public in the next 18 to 36 months. I think that's definitely a viable option for Uber. Do I think Uber's actually going to do well once they get to public offering? I'm not entirely sure they're going to do well in the interim. I'm not even entirely sure they get to a public offering to begin with. What with all the litigation they've been dealing with, and again, $645 million in losses in the previous quarter. Uber's a great idea on paper. It's a really good concept that makes things very convenient, but there's a lot of pitfalls that come along with it, and a lot of those pitfalls could be your health. Remain concerned with the fact that if these cars crash and they're not insured properly, or they're not maintained properly, or maybe your driver isn't as skilled as a professional driver might be, who knows what you could encounter on your ride home. So while Uber's a great convenience, is it a great investment, or is it a great idea to go further with? I think Uber's been dealing with a lot of roadblocks. It's one of those new emerging type of businesses, and I think we're going to encounter this, but there's definitely going to be pushback from all sorts of insurance companies and cab companies and everybody else, and we've been seeing that over and over. So the prospect of going public in 18 to 36 months, while it sounds great on paper, $645 million in losses in a quarter, tons of litigation, a lot of bad press, doesn't make me too convinced or too confident that Uber's really going to take it to the next level. But hey, I've been wrong before. Make sure before you do any investing that you consult with a licensed professional financial advisor. Do your own due diligence and click the subscribe button down there for Wall Street Breakdown. And we'll keep bringing you financial news that impacts your portfolio.